The world keeps telling people to chase more. More attention. More validation. More approval. More applause. But the ancient Stoics believed something completely different. They believed the moment you stop chasing the world begins to chase you. And that is exactly what this video is about. Focus on yourself, and watch everything fall into place. If this message speaks to you, subscribe to the channel and join a community of people learning how to master themselves through Stoic wisdom, discipline, and inner peace. There comes a moment in every person's life when they grow tired. Not physically tired, but spiritually exhausted. Exhausted from trying to please everyone. Exhausted from constantly proving themselves. Exhausted from caring too much about opinions that do not even matter. You wake up one morning and realize that most of your suffering came from looking outward instead of inward. You cared too much about who stayed. Too much about who left. Too much about who noticed you. Too much about who ignored you. And slowly, without realizing it, you abandoned yourself. The Stoics warned about this centuries ago. They understood that the man who depends on external things for happiness becomes a slave to external things. If your peace depends on people behaving the way you want, you will never know peace. If your confidence depends on applause, criticism will destroy you. If your value depends on attention, loneliness will break you. But when you focus on yourself, truly focus on yourself, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your mind becomes quieter. Your emotions become stronger. Your standards become higher. And suddenly, the chaos around you no longer controls you. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Think about that deeply. Your life is shaped not merely by events, but by the thoughts you repeat every single day. If you constantly think about rejection, you become rejection. If you constantly think about fear, you become fear. If you constantly think about what others think of you, you slowly lose your own identity. This is why focusing on yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. The modern world will try to make you feel guilty for protecting your peace. It will tell you that saying no is rude. That distancing yourself from negativity is cold. That prioritizing your growth is selfish. But the Stoics knew that a person who cannot govern themselves cannot truly help anyone else. You cannot pour strength into others if you are empty inside. And maybe this is the lesson you needed to hear today. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not every argument deserves your response. Not every opinion deserves your attention. A strong person learns the sacred art of detachment. Detachment does not mean you stop loving people. It means you stop allowing people to control your emotional state. There is a difference. Too many people wake up every morning emotionally chained to the actions of others. One text can ruin their mood. One insult can ruin their confidence. One rejection can ruin their entire week. But the Stoics trained themselves differently. They understood that true power begins when you stop giving other people authority over your inner world. Imagine how peaceful your life would become if you stopped reacting to everything. Imagine the freedom. Someone ignores you. You remain calm. Someone doubts you. You continue improving. Someone leaves you. You continue growing. Someone misunderstands you. You remain grounded. This is power. Not loud power. Quiet power. The kind of power that comes from mastering yourself. Most people spend their lives trying to control others. Stoicism teaches you to control yourself instead. Because at the end of the day, that is the only thing you truly own. Your thoughts. Your actions. Your choices. Your response. Everything else is temporary. People change. Situations change. Emotions change. Fortunes change. But character is yours forever. And when you focus on building your character instead of chasing approval, your entire life begins to transform. You stop begging for attention because you become comfortable with solitude. You stop chasing validation because you validate yourself. You stop fearing rejection because you realize your worth was never tied to acceptance. This is why focused people move differently. They do not need to announce every goal. They do not need to prove every achievement. They are too busy building themselves quietly while the world is distracted by noise. There is something dangerous about a person who has learned to enjoy their own company. Because once you no longer fear being alone, people lose the ability to manipulate you. Desperation disappears. Neediness disappears. Anxiety disappears. And in its place comes calm confidence. The kind that cannot be faked. The Stoics often practice solitude because solitude reveals truth. When the distractions disappear, you finally meet yourself. Many people avoid silence because silence forces them to confront what they have been running from. Their fears. Their insecurities. Their emptiness. But growth begins the moment you stop running. Focus on yourself. Heal yourself. Discipline yourself. Educate yourself. Strengthen yourself. Because the truth is, nobody is coming to save you. And strangely, the moment you accept that, you become free. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop waiting for rescue. You stop waiting for permission. You realize that your life changes the moment you decide to change it. Epictetus taught that no man is free who is not master of himself. Think about how many people are controlled by impulses. Controlled by anger. Controlled by lust. Controlled by envy. Controlled by social media. Controlled by the opinions of strangers. That is not freedom. Real freedom is emotional discipline. Real freedom is inner stability. Real freedom is waking up every day and refusing to let temporary emotions dictate permanent decisions. When you focus on yourself, you begin to notice how much energy you wasted trying to fit into places that were never meant for you. You stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. You stop dimming your light to avoid criticism. And here is the irony. The moment you stop chasing people, people notice you more. The moment you stop forcing things, things begin to flow naturally. The moment you stop obsessing over outcomes, outcomes improve. Because desperation repels, while calm confidence attracts. People are drawn to those who are centered within themselves. Not because they are perfect, but because they are peaceful. And peace is rare in this world. Most people are restless. Constantly comparing. Constantly competing. Constantly consuming. Their minds never rest. Their emotions constantly fluctuate. They are addicted to stimulation because they are afraid of stillness. But stillness is where wisdom lives. A focused mind is a dangerous mind. Not dangerous to others, dangerous to mediocrity. Because once you become focused, excuses lose power over you. You stop saying, "one day." You stop blaming circumstances. You stop blaming your past. You stop blaming other people. And you begin taking responsibility for your life. That is one of the hardest truths in Stoicism. Responsibility. It is painful because responsibility removes the comfort of excuses. But it is also empowering because responsibility gives you control again. The victim mentality says, "Life happened to me." The Stoic mentality says, "Life challenged me, and I will rise anyway." That mindset changes everything. Suddenly, obstacles become training grounds. Pain becomes wisdom. Failure becomes education. Loneliness becomes self-discovery. And heartbreak becomes transformation. Nothing is wasted when you focus on growth. The strongest people are not people who avoided suffering. They are people who learned from suffering. Every scar taught them something. Every betrayal taught them discernment. Every failure taught them resilience. Every loss taught them detachment. This is why Stoics never viewed hardship as punishment. They viewed it as preparation. And maybe the difficult season you are in right now is preparing you for a stronger version of yourself. Maybe life is teaching you to rely less on external comfort and more on internal strength. Because eventually, everyone reaches a point where they understand this simple truth. Outer success means nothing without inner peace. You can have money and still feel empty. You can have fame and still feel insecure. You can have attention and still feel lonely. That is why focusing on yourself is deeper than self-improvement. It is self-mastery. Self-improvement changes your habits. Self-mastery changes your identity. It changes how you think, how you react, how you carry yourself. how you handle pressure, how you respond to disrespect, how you move through uncertainty. The Stoics believe that the quality of your life depends on the quality of your mind. And your mind becomes stronger every time you stop feeding it negativity. Protect your mind. Be careful what you consume daily. Be careful who you listen to. Be careful what environments you stay in. Energy is contagious. Spend enough time around negativity, and your spirit becomes heavy. Spend enough time around chaos, and your mind becomes chaotic. Spend enough time around shallow people, and your focus weakens. This is why focused individuals become selective. Not arrogant. Selective. They understand that peace is expensive, and not everyone deserves access to it. You do not owe everyone your time. You do not owe everyone explanations. You do not owe everyone emotional access to you. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is quietly walk away. Walk away from disrespect. Walk away from manipulation. Walk away from drama. Walk away from environments that destroy your spirit. The Stoics understood that your environment shapes your character. If you surround yourself with people who constantly gossip, complain, and chase meaningless distractions, eventually your mind becomes infected with the same habits. But when you surround yourself with wisdom, discipline, and purpose, you rise. And sometimes rising requires separation. Not everyone can come with you into your next chapter. That truth hurts, but it is necessary. Some people only understand the version of you that needed validation. The moment you begin evolving, they become uncomfortable. Why? Because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Do not let that stop you. Growth often feels lonely before it becomes beautiful. There will be moments where you question yourself. Moments where you feel misunderstood. Moments where you feel isolated. But remember this. Every strong person was once alone with their thoughts, fighting battles nobody saw. Strength is built in silence. Discipline is built in repetition. Character is built in hardship. And peace is built through detachment. When you focus on yourself, your priorities change. You begin investing in your health, your habits, your mind, your future. You stop wasting hours trying to impress people who would forget you tomorrow. You stop competing with strangers online. You stop seeking meaning in shallow attention. Instead, you build a life that feels meaningful internally. Because at the end of the day, the goal is not merely to look successful. The goal is to feel whole. To wake up with clarity. To sleep with peace. To stand alone without feeling empty. That is real success. The Stoics constantly reminded themselves of mortality. Not to become fearful, but to become intentional. One day, all the noise will disappear. The opinions, the trends, the drama, the competition, none of it will matter. So why waste your precious life chasing things that do not nourish your soul? Why spend years trying to be accepted by people who do not even accept themselves? Why betray your own peace just to avoid disappointing others? Life becomes lighter when you stop carrying unnecessary emotional weight. Forgive yourself. Release resentment. Stop replaying old mistakes. The past cannot be changed, but your relationship with the past can change. One of the greatest forms of self-focus is self-forgiveness. Many people are trapped, not because of circumstances, but because of guilt. They constantly punish themselves for who they used to be. But Stoicism teaches growth, not self-destruction. Learn. Adapt. Move forward. The person you were yesterday does not have to define who you become tomorrow. And maybe that is the beauty of life. Every day is another opportunity to rebuild yourself. To think differently. To choose differently. To act differently. To become stronger. No matter how broken your past may feel, your future is still unwritten. But transformation requires discipline. Not motivation. Discipline. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. The focused person does not rely on feelings. They rely on standards. They train when they do not feel like training. They work when they do not feel inspired. They remain calm when emotions try to overpower them. This is why discipline creates freedom. Because a disciplined mind cannot easily be destroyed by temporary discomfort. Most people quit because they chase comfort. But comfort rarely creates greatness. The Stoics voluntarily embraced discomfort at times because they understood something profound. If you train yourself to handle discomfort, life loses the power to intimidate you. Cold mornings, lonely nights, hard conversations, rejection, failure, uncertainty. These things stop terrifying you once you realize you can survive them. And that realization changes your confidence forever. True confidence is not believing nothing bad will happen. True confidence is knowing you can handle whatever happens. That is Stoic confidence. Calm, grounded, unshaken. And when you carry yourself that way, people feel it. Not because you demand attention, but because your energy speaks before your words do. There is a quiet aura around people who have mastered themselves. They do not chase approval because they already approve of themselves internally. They do not panic over rejection because rejection no longer defines them. They do not crumble under criticism because their identity is rooted deeper than opinions. This is why focusing on yourself changes everything. Your relationships improve because you stop operating from insecurity. Your goals improve because your focus sharpens. Your emotions improve because you stop feeding negativity. Your confidence improves because you keep promises to yourself. And slowly, piece by piece, your life begins falling into place. Not magically. Not overnight. But naturally. Because inner order creates outer order. The chaos outside often reflects the chaos within. Heal within, and your external life starts shifting too. You become more patient. More intentional. More observant. More disciplined. More peaceful. And ironically, the less desperate you become for things, the more naturally they arrive. People respect those who respect themselves. Opportunities come to those prepared for them. Peace comes to those who stop fighting reality. The Stoics believe suffering often comes from resisting what is. We waste energy arguing with reality instead of adapting to it. But life becomes easier when you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That question changes pain into wisdom. Every experience becomes useful. Even betrayal. Even failure. Even heartbreak. Especially heartbreak. Heartbreak has a strange way of waking people up. It forces them inward. Suddenly they begin questioning everything. Their habits. Their standards. Their identity. Their purpose. And many people discover themselves only after losing someone else. Maybe that happened to you. Maybe pain forced you to focus on yourself. If so, do not resent the pain completely. Some storms arrive not to destroy you, but to redirect you. Sometimes losing distractions is the beginning of finding yourself. And the person you become after deep suffering is often wiser, calmer, and stronger than the person you were before. The Stoics knew this. That is why they did not fear hardship the way most people do. They understood that fire does not destroy gold. It reveals it. And maybe life has been refining you, preparing you, strengthening your mind, teaching you emotional endurance. Because the future version of you requires qualities the current version has not fully developed yet. Patience, discipline, self-control, detachment, courage. These things are not built in comfort. They are built through resistance. This is why focusing on yourself is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. Because while everyone else is distracted by temporary pleasures, you are building permanence within yourself. While others chase attention, you chase mastery. While others react emotionally to everything, you cultivate calmness. While others seek validation externally, you create confidence internally. That difference changes your destiny. Never underestimate the power of a focused individual. One focus year can completely transform your life. 1 year of discipline. 1 year of learning. 1 year of emotional control. 1 year of consistency. Most people dramatically underestimate how much their lives can change when they stop scattering their energy everywhere. Focus is power. Energy flows where attention goes. If your attention constantly goes toward drama, your life fills with drama. If your attention constantly goes toward fear, your life fills with anxiety. If your attention constantly goes toward growth, discipline, and purpose, your life transforms. Protect your attention carefully. Modern society profits from distraction. Every platform fights for your focus. Every notification pulls at your mind. Every comparison weakens your self-worth. The distracted mind becomes weak because it never stays still long enough to build depth. But depth is where greatness lives. The Stoics valued depth over appearance, substance over image, character over popularity, wisdom over entertainment. Ask yourself honestly, who are you becoming through your daily habits? What kind of mind are you building? What kind of spirit are you feeding? Because every day, you are either strengthening yourself or weakening yourself. There is no neutrality. And sometimes the hardest truth to accept is this: nobody can do the inner work for you. Nobody can heal your mind for you. Nobody can discipline your habits for you. Nobody can build your confidence for you. You must choose yourself. Again and again. Even on difficult days. Especially on difficult days. Because difficult days reveal your foundation. Anyone can feel strong when life feels easy. But can you remain calm during uncertainty? Can you remain disciplined during pain? Can you remain hopeful during loneliness? That is the real test of character. And every time you pass that test, you become stronger internally. One day you wake up and realize things that once shattered you no longer affect you the same way. You no longer overreact. You no longer beg for understanding. You no longer seek closure from everyone. You no longer chase. And that is when peace enters your life. Not because life became perfect, but because you became stronger. Strength changes perception. The mature mind understands that not every battle deserves engagement. Some battles deserve silence. Some deserve distance. Some deserve indifference. And some deserve complete detachment. People often think strength is loud aggression. But Stoic strength is quiet restraint. It is the ability to remain composed when emotions tempt you to lose control. Anyone can explode in anger. Few can remain calm under pressure. Anyone can seek revenge. Few can rise above disrespect. Anyone can complain. Few can endure with dignity. That is why emotional discipline is rare. And rare qualities create rare lives. If you truly want your life to fall into place, stop obsessing over controlling the external world and start mastering your internal world. Master your thoughts. Master your habits. Master your reactions. Master your impulses. Because once you master yourself, very little outside of you can shake you. The world respects centered people. Not because they are flawless, but because they radiate certainty. A certainty built through struggle, through solitude, through discipline, through self-reflection, through pain transformed into wisdom. And maybe the most beautiful thing about focusing on yourself is this: you finally stop abandoning yourself for others. You stop betraying your values to fit in. You stop lowering your standards to keep people comfortable. You stop ignoring your intuition. You stop tolerating things that destroy your peace. You begin honoring yourself. That changes everything. The Stoics believe dignity comes from living in alignment with your values, not from external rewards. A person who remains true to themselves in a world full of pressure is already victorious. So if you feel lost right now, start here. Return to yourself. Disconnect from noise. Sit quietly. Reflect deeply. Ask yourself what kind of life truly matters to you. Not society's version. Not social media's version. Your version. Because many people climb ladders only to discover they were leaning against the wrong wall. Do not spend years chasing things that leave your soul empty. Choose depth. Choose growth. Choose peace. Choose discipline. Choose yourself. The journey will not always feel glamorous. Some days it will feel painfully slow. Some days you will feel tempted to quit. Some days your old habits will call you back toward distraction and comfort. But keep going. The strongest transformations are often invisible at first. Roots grow in silence before trees rise publicly. And one day, people will look at your calmness, your discipline, your confidence, your peace, and they will wonder how you became so strong. They will not see the lonely nights, the silent battles, the sacrifices, the moments you chose growth over comfort. But you will know. And that inner pride is worth more than temporary applause. Never forget this. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. If you disrespect yourself, others will too. If you abandon yourself, others will sense it. If you constantly seek validation, manipulators will exploit it. But when you respect yourself deeply, your entire energy changes. Your standards rise. Your boundaries strengthen. Your confidence stabilizes. And the right people naturally gravitate toward you. Not because you chase them, but because you finally stop chasing everyone else. Focus on becoming someone you are proud of privately. Not publicly. Privately. Because real confidence is built when nobody is watching. The Stoics often reflected on this idea. Character is what you do when no applause follows your actions. Integrity is who you are when nobody can reward you for it. Can you stay disciplined without recognition? Can you remain kind without praise? Can you continue improving without validation? That is true strength. And when you live that way long enough, life begins aligning differently around you. Not perfectly, but meaningfully. You become emotionally lighter, mentally sharper, spiritually calmer. And suddenly, the things that once felt impossible begin feeling achievable. Not because the world changed. Because you changed. The greatest investment you will ever make is the investment you make into yourself. Your mind. Your discipline. Your wisdom. Your peace. These are assets nobody can steal from you. Money can disappear. Status can disappear. Relationships can change. But inner strength stays with you everywhere. That is why Stoicism remains timeless. Because it teaches people how to remain steady in an unstable world. And in today's world, steadiness is rare. Most people are mentally exhausted because they are constantly reacting instead of reflecting. They consume endlessly but think very little. They seek stimulation instead of understanding. They seek attention instead of purpose. But purpose is found inwardly, not outwardly. You discover purpose when you become quiet enough to hear yourself again. And maybe that is what you need right now. Not more noise. Not more distraction. Not more approval. Just clarity. Stillness. Focus. Your life does not improve merely because circumstances improve. Your life improves when your mindset improves. The Stoics knew that external success without internal discipline creates fragile people. That is why some people collapse the moment life becomes difficult. Their foundation was built on comfort instead of character. Build character. Everything else becomes easier afterward. And remember this deeply. You are not behind in life. You are not too late. You are not disqualified because of your past mistakes. Life is not asking you to be perfect. Life is asking you to become conscious. To wake up. To stop living mechanically. To stop wasting your energy on meaningless things. To stop abandoning your own growth. Every day you focus on yourself with honesty and discipline, you reclaim a piece of your power. And eventually, your entire life reflects that inner transformation. Your peace becomes noticeable. Your energy becomes magnetic. Your standards become unshakable. Your presence becomes calm. And that calmness becomes your superpower in a chaotic world. So stop chasing everything outside of you. The peace you seek begins within. The confidence you seek begins within. The strength you seek begins within. The clarity you seek begins within. Focus on yourself. Not out of arrogance, but out of wisdom. Because when you truly master yourself, everything else begins falling into place naturally. And one day, you will look back at this season of your life and realize it was not punishment. It was preparation. Preparation for the person you were always meant to become. If this video resonated with you, subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom, self-mastery, and life-changing insights. Keep growing, Keep strengthening your mind, and remember, the strongest person in the room is often the calmest one.